The first asylum seeker boat expected to be the subject to Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd's tough new policy. The regional resettlement agreement with the PNG has arrived at Christmas Island with an estimated 74 passengers. It was the first vessel to berth at the island since the Prime Minister yesterday afternoon pledged to give asylum seekers a no chance of settling in Australia if they arrive by boat. Speaking to reporters in Australia today, the Immigration Minister Tony Burke said that the new vessel comprised of almost entirely persons from Iran.
The Prime Minister's new policy has met some criticism, with over 200 people gathering in Perth yesterday to protest against the new approach to asylum seekers, while more protests took place elsewhere. The latest boat was intercepted by the HMAS Bathurst and was secured in the Flying Fish Cove at Christmas Island. According to Australian media, the passengers are still on board waiting to come ashore. Earlier today, Australian media reported that the last group of asylum seekers exempt from the processing policy has been brought to shore and flown to Christmas Island. The boat of 17 people from Vietnam was spotted by workers on an oil and gas platform yesterday. According to the BBC World Service, police have restored order after rioting broke out at an Australian-run immigration detention camp on the Pacific island state of Nauru. Australian immigration officials said that about 150 asylum seekers were involved in last night's rioting. Speaking to reporters earlier today, the Australian Immigration Minister Tony Burke said that the objective of the new RRA with PNG was to take away the product of the people smugglers.
If what they want is simply to move to a country which has a higher average income, then that's not what the Refugee Convention is for. That's what the orderly immigration process is for. If we end up seeing a marked reduction in the number of vessels, if we end up seeing success in the international cooperation that the Prime Minister announced yesterday, if that happens, then Australia becomes a country that is able to extend a more generous hand in finding new homes for some of the most desperate people in the world. No one should view this as being a choice between compassion and pragmatism. There is nothing compassionate in children drowning at sea. There is nothing compassionate in people waiting in refugee camps for more than a decade while other people who might not have a valid asylum claim get processed immediately. Those are not compassionate options. We're making sure that we take away the product that people smugglers sell. The product that they are extorting money from people for is residence in Australia. The Papua New Guinea arrangement does not.
According to the data published on the website of the Australian Refugee Council, a total of 14,415 onshore asylum applications were lodged from 2011 to 2012. The data also indicates that 7,379 asylum applications were lodged by irregular maritime arrivals during that time period. According to the website of the Australian Refugee Council, 4,730 boat people arrived in Australia in 89 boats from 2010 to 2011. However, that figure almost doubled from 2011 to 2012, with 7,983 persons arriving in Australia aboard 110 vessels. The Australian Prime Minister has said that if anyone comes to Australia by boat, they will be taken to Papua New Guinea. In Papua New Guinea, the asylum seekers will be processed. If they do process, they will be sent back to their country of origin. If their country of origin does not accept them, these people will be directed to a third country. However, they will be processed in Papua New Guinea.
With News First, the Upcountry People's Front says that plans are afoot to form an alliance in lieu of the upcoming provincial council elections. The head of the party's Politburo, parliamentarian V. Radhakrishna, speaking to News First this evening, said that discussions in this regard are currently underway.
Forthcoming election in the Central Province, we are contesting under the Mamati symbol, under the Upcountry People's Front symbol. We are contesting under Norelia district with the collaboration, the Workers and Liberation Front and Honorable Prabhaganeshan's party and the People's Front, Honorable Ranga's party and Muslim Congress. With these two parties we were already invited, but still the negotiation is going on. Once the negotiations finish, four parties together we will contest in the Norelia district in the forthcoming provincial council election.
Here are a few of the comments expressed during the Saturday debate program at Stein Studios in Ratmalana on Thursday. The topic of the program, development in the Central Province.
Yesterday's newspaper reported that you had made a statement noting that politics hasn't gone to the dogs, but dogs have entered politics. We have a serious issue about the behavior of various individuals who come before the public posing as legislators and obtain their vote. It is not only in that newspaper. I have voiced my criticism in the Central Provincial Council in the past as well. Aren't you levelling allegations at another faction of the government? It doesn't matter if it is the opposition or the government. In the recent past, it was the government that faced all these charges. Minister Bandulayale, he contested under the UPA fair ticket and under the symbol of the beetle leaf, yet he is levelling allegations at the same party.
He made the charges to the people in local government bodies. What he is trying to say is that good people should enter politics.
My question is whether this allegation is relevant to your party.
No, allegations can be made. They will affect wrongdoers.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party says that a final decision will be taken regarding the conduct of local government representatives who face various allegations on the 31st of July. Issuing a communique, the SLFP says that the party's Central Working Committee meeting reached an agreement in this regard yesterday. The Central Working Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to meet the heads of local government institutions amounting to 275 in Colombo on the 31st of this month. The communique, bearing the signature of the General Secretary of the party, Minister Maithripala Sirisena, says during the meeting, heads of the local government bodies will be advised and a decision taken against those who are found guilty. The issues pertaining to the recent conduct of heads and members of local government bodies had been discussed at length during yesterday's Central Working Committee meeting of the SLFP. Over the recent past, a number of heads and members of local government institutions were charged with various allegations. Over the recent past, a number of heads and members of local government institutions were charged with various allegations.
Charge: murder and molesting a foreigner. Accused: Chairman, Tangol Pradesh Sabha. Charge: murder. Accused: Member, Baligapola Pradesh Sabha. Charge: raping an underage girl. Accused: Chairman, Akurasa Pradesh Sabha. Charge: assaulting an official of the Pradesh Sabha. Accused: Chairman, Karulagaswara Pradesh Sabha. Charge: assaulting 2 police officers. Accused: Chairman, Ambilipita Pradesh Sabha. Charge: assaulting a mother and daughter. Accused: Chairman, Vidimalia the Pradesh Sabha. Charge: assaulting a field officer. Accused: Chairman, Karulagaswara Pradesh Sabha. Charge: soliciting a bribe. Accused: Chairman, Vadalavita Pradesh Sabha. Charge: soliciting a bribe. Accused: Chairman, Yatiantara Pradesh Sabha. Member of the Galigamur Pradesh Sabha charged with financial fraud under remand custody.
Government politicians reiterate that people have the responsibility to choose disciplined public representatives.
It is our responsibility to protect the honour and the rights of voters. Most of us have forgotten this. From the Pradesh Sabha level to the higher ups, some politicians only think of power. They have begun to think that power has been vested to them to suppress the rights of the people and threaten them. However, if you misuse the powers given to you, the people will not use their franchise to elect you again. The public should be well aware about who they want to elect and whether they will in turn protect their honour and rights.
ඡන්දදායකයා කල්පනා කර යුතු කාරණයක් තියෙනවා අපේ ගෞරවය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න අපි කවද යව යුත්තේ කියලා. අලුත් යුද්ධයකට අපි මුණ දෙන්න සිදු වෙලා තිබෙනවා. නොයෙකුත් පළාතවල ආයුධ බෝම්බ
We are now facing a new war. We are discovering weapons and bombs from various areas. This is a new trend in elections. The voting system has not changed. We use weapons to eradicate terrorists. However, today, our candidates are using weapons to contest elections. The people should make a choice. They have to make a decision. I urge the public to use their rights to elect educated individuals as public representatives, as they will work for the betterment of the country. Individuals of such caliber have to be elected to local government bodies.
මන්ත්‍රී වරුන්ව පත් කරන්න කියලා මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා. මෙන්න මෙවැනි අය තමයි අපි පළාත් සභාවලට යවන්න ඕනේ.
Here's a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day. Former UNP activists note that information has come to light that the UNP leader would leave the country with his close associates before the upcoming elections, as witnessed during previous elections. Southern Provincial Councillor Attorney at Law Maitri Gunaratna noted that the party members would give a strong verdict to the leader of the party and his working committee, who continue to drag the party to defeat.
මේ හැම ඡන්දයක් තියෙනකොටම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා මොකද්ද කරන්නේ?
What does Ranil Wickremesinghe do when an election is held? He travels overseas. At a time when provincial elections are due to be held, what does he do? He continues with his tradition of leaving the country. Is there a need for such a leadership? This is the exact leadership we are fighting against. Nearly 60 MPs have crossed over to the government. Now there is a debate amongst the public whether Dayasiri Jayasekara will leave the party. There was a big musical show in Colombo where artists from overseas also performed. When unpopular politicians got onto the stage, the crowds hooted. This is that fate that will befall the working committee, headed by Ranil Wickremesinghe's junta. This junta should take up responsibility for the continuous election defeats. I need to remind you that when Ranil Wickremesinghe and his junta step out, boos will rain down from crowds. They will not receive any public support.
එළියට යනකොටත් වෙන්නේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ හූපාර කන්න එක මිසක් වෙන කිසිම සහයෝගයක් ජනතාවගෙන් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එකත් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
Numerous reports suggest that parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara is preparing to contest the provincial council elections on the UPFA ticket. If Dayasiri crosses over, what will be the reason? Is it because of the UNP leader, or is it because Dayasiri agrees with government policies? This was the question we posed to our multi-platform audience throughout the day today, and following are the results of the online and SMS opinion polls. %74% are of the opinion that if MP Dayasiri Jayasekara crosses over, it will be because of the UNP leader. 26% are of the opinion that if he crosses over, it is because he agrees with government policies. The poll is still open. You can log on to www.newsfirst.lk and take part in this opinion poll. You can also SMS your opinion to us if you believe that MP Dayasiri Jayasekara may join the alliance because of the UNP leader. Then SMS news space 1 and send to 7788. If you believe that MP Dayasiri Jayasekara may join the alliance because he agrees with government policies, SMS news space 2 and send to 7788.